Evening and welcome. Good evening and welcome to the regular meeting for the town of Tusten Town Board for December the 12th. Call the meeting to order. Please join me in the pledge of pride. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 1.3, our payment of bills is going to be done in a recessed meeting. They are not ready for tonight. We've had an issue with getting done due to personal reasons. Division reports. Division reports are online as always. For the ones that we do not do here at the meeting, you're welcome to go online and take a look at them. Since the assessor is here, we shall read the assessor's report. During the month of November, we attended the monthly meeting of the Sullivan County Assessors Association, which was held in the west wing of Gable Farm, my home, and combined it with a retirement dinner for Ken. Elections of officers were held and discussions of laws changing the administration of some exemptions was the main focus of the meeting. Deeds and other data changes were done and the tax roll was submitted for January 2024 tax bills. The file was uploaded to Telecent in early November. Much work was done towards the full value assessment that will be completed by New York State. Over 180 files had to be pulled and reviewed, along with making copies of each of the property record cards by our office. Peg has developed an Excel sheet to help keep our comments readily available. This is a very important task. The results will be used in the equalization rate, the level of assessment, and residential assessment ratio for the next few tax cycles. These rate effects have the apportionment of various towns are done for both the school and the county tax bills. That is respectfully submitted from Ken Bain. The board have any questions of Ken? Good to see you here.
Yeah. Surprise.
We've got no report from the Upper Delaware Council.
Ben, can I actually jump in there? I went to an Upper Delaware Council meeting this last week in regards to their cell phone project to improve cell signal throughout the county, and it is moving forward well. They have engaged with a company that is currently getting supplies in, and they hope a more significant update will be ready in the next couple of months. But I figured I might as well take the time to update it.
The perfect spot for the Upper Delaware report. Thank you. So, board have any questions, Craig?
Good news.
Energy Committee last week, the contractor informed that the lights on Main Street have all been commissioned. One light still does remain illuminated and they are aware of that, but they have been commissioned, so all of the parts are there. We've been informed that the Street parking lot are not operating as intended. That has been reported. One light on Grove Street has also been reported as out, and that will be reported. There's a kickoff meeting being set up by the New York Power Authority for a maintenance contract. Once I get that, I will bring it to the board for approval. Once that's approved, then repairs and replacements can begin on any of the lights that we've got issues with. Jane, with the zoning committee?
No, we didn't meet.
Conservation advisory?
Nope, we didn't meet.
How about the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer Committee?
Yeah, we met at 8 a.m. on December 7th, which was last week. Correspondence reviewed. We responded to the only correspondence we had outstanding. On the subject of water, the subject of radio monitors was discussed. The cost for a replacement monitor will be the homeowner's responsibility, but there's no charge for the labor to disconnect and reinstall. That's for a replacement. Besides the billing, these monitors are used to check for unusual usage. Example is a leak in the system, and the water district has become aware of many water leaks as a result of weekly monitoring. So the monitors are used for weekly monitoring, not just billing. Sewer, the committee reviewed the comments from the public hearing, and the committee or does recommend the following to the town board for approval. Do we have that on the agenda?
We do, yes.
Okay, that the sewer rates be based on water usage plus the quarterly base rate. The quarterly base rate per unit will be $125.50. And the usage rate will be $8.88 per gallon per 1,000 gallons of water. Nothing like jacking up the price. If a household is not in the water district, only in the sewer district, a water meter will be installed. Security cameras will be installed at the sewer sand bed, and the gate at the entrance of the sewer offices will be moved to allow for the neighbors to have easy access onto their property. Any questions on?
I have none. Anybody from the board?
Just a comment for those who came to the public hearing about the sewer rates. The recommendation is still for scenario number 5 in the rate plans that were sent out.
Brent, Little Lake Erie Culvert has been completed. I'm very happy about that. Anybody's gone there and driven over it, it's really nice to have 2 cars back and forth. Water infrastructure project continues to be coordinated by Delaware Engineering. Playground project is ongoing. The mound for small children has been installed. We await a decision from the UDC regarding a pavilion. Contract with the National Fish and Wildlife Grant Foundation to develop an open space and recreation plan for the town of Tusten has been received. Did you sign it? No, I guess I had signed
I
it.
believe you signed it, yeah.
What?
I believe you signed that.
Yeah, I did, but I wonder, has it come back? Do you know?
I haven't seen.
No? All right, I don't think we can start until it comes back with their signature. And the technical assistance grant to develop a plan for reconfiguring town office and public space has been completed. That's me. Wait, I think that's all for me. Yep,
You want to do the youth?
sure. Tusten Youth, annual Christmas event was a success once again. The 2024 event / program schedule is underway. And the Tusten Youth Club has been awarded $2,000 for the 2023 to 2024 New York State Office from, I guess that is, the Office of Children and Family Services through the Sullivan County Youth Bureau. I think there was just another one too that I read. No, maybe not. Okay.
Thank you.
Right.
I'm going to open up the floor for public comment prior to the old business. We'll start here in the hall. Yes, start,
You want me to stand up here?
please.
Sorry. Okay. I had sent a letter to the board regarding the LED streetlight status. And I heard, I'm sorry, I was late, but I heard that you had resolved some of the issues with those lights. You don't have at this time any idea of when they're going to be operating properly?
Yeah, I missed when you came in during the energy report. All the streetlights have been commissioned at this point. As far as the ones that are inoperable right now, they're still working on the ones, but the issue that we had with communication has been resolved. So now all we've got is whether they're working or not. Like the one on Grove Street is not working. We need to find out why.
Okay. And the one that was in front of Narrowsburg proper, that's lit now?
One of them is, all of them are commissioned to work as they are intended. One of the ones on Main Street is still staying lit 24/7. That's not a communication issue. That's just a problem with the light itself, much like the one on in the parking lot and the one that's down on Grove.
Okay, well, the one I'm talking about wasn't on, has never been lit at all from the time of inception. So if you're saying now at least it's on all the time, I guess that's a step in the right direction. That's good.
Yes.
Okay, who's responsible for fixing the high sodium light over here in front of the fire department?
New York State Electric and Gas is responsible for that. They have been informed of it.
Well, that's been out for a long time. When were they informed?
Several weeks ago.
Did they give you any idea when they might be fixing it?
They did not, that I'm aware of, did they? No,
So they were informed, but we don't know anything more about that.
that is correct.
Okay, well, it is a safety hazard for those firemen that have, or firefighters that have to pull equipment in and out in the dark night if they're called out. So that really should be a priority issue. I would hope they would be, someone could stay on their case.
I think every street light is a safety issue. We have them
Yeah,
for
but not every street light is out, and this one is not, and it hasn't been working in quite a while. So I hope somebody stays on top of that and keeps a nose to the grindstone sort of thing. In the October executive session, there was a discussion of the sale of property in town. Reportedly, it was the old Wayne Memorial Hospital Clinic. Has any additional information been forthcoming about that?
about the
Executive-
hospital building.
Yes, the sale. And how
I
the
don't
town-
know.
How the town is involved with that? Is that-
Nobody said the town was involved in it.
Oh, good. Okay, well, then that's the next one. What is the status of the pavilion?
The pavilion is, just as Jane reported in the, grant program, I believe it was,
No, grants. Mhm.
that the playground project is ongoing and we await a decision from the Upper Delaware Council regarding a pavilion.
Okay, because I saw, there was an article in the paper where they mentioned that, the board was intending to put this before the council, for the Upper Delaware Council for a yay or nay on it, and then to put out bids. And I was just wondering, with this water, and sewer upgrade, which is a mandated project and reportedly costing town upwards of $7 million to do, and also had town taxes raised in order to fund some of that. I'm just wondering, if you have something like that, with a huge amount of money that's going to be landing on, some of it's going to be landing on taxpayers to pay, does it make sense to pursue bids on a project that's not mandated? And you, as far as I know, at this point, you still have no information at all as to how much this building might cost to build, and also how much it might cost with the insurance for the project. Does it make sense to go ahead with that kind of double dipping on as debt?
We're not double dipping, except for those that live in the water district are responsible for the water district. Those in the sewer district are responsible for the sewer district. The pavilion is part of a town project that involves the whole town. If you're saying that we should not do a project to benefit the town because a water and a sewer district have issues that they need to maintain, then what you're telling me is that, well, we can't do a town project because it's going to cost too much money for other people that live within a district that receive certain services that people outside of those districts don't get. So yes, it makes sense to continue with the project, and has been stated before that when the bids go out and then come back in, then the board can make a decision on whether or not they wish to pursue it at that point. But stopping the project because of those things, that's not the flavor of the
Well,
board at this
excuse
point.
me, I know you said that it's only the town people in the town, in the water district and the sewer district that are going to be hit with this cost. But I seem to remember at some point it was said that if the town people couldn't come up with it, it was the town itself that was going to be stuck with the bill at the end.
No, what you misrepresented is the fact that the town could be responsible if the district fails. However, as was corrected by council, that the town will be made whole by that district.
So the people are going to pay one way or the other, it's just whether or not the town steps in first to
Correct.
bail them out.
Mhm.
okay, I still think that doesn't make sense to go ahead with a non-mandated project that is, I believe, going to be quite expensive, and you still have this other thing unresolved. The last thing I just want to ask about is, well, in discussing at the workshop meeting, the supporters of the town pavilion project sort of flash mob the meeting, and they were adamant on several points, but one of the things was that there had to be a toilet in that building. There had to be a toilet. This was absolutely essential. And the building, I know it is required by law, if you have a gathering in the building, that they have to have a toilet, but this was beyond that. This was just, they don't want the building there unless there's a toilet that can service the people's needs. I thought it was odd because the Main Street toilet, which would service many of these same people, was more or less just discussed and dismissed out of hand as being not necessary, and it wasn't too expensive. And so I think if you are going to go ahead with the pavilion and you're going to be considering the toilet, which is mandated to be there, kind of building your building, that you really ought to hold off the discussion until you can see next year, when you can have discussion about toilets on Main Street as well as in the pavilion. And I would ask you to please consider this and possibly discuss that among yourselves, to hold off on any kind of toilet in one building when Main Street is just going begging. Thank you.
Other comment from the floor? We have anybody up on Zoom? I see Anthony is raising his hand.
Good question. Earlier when we were talking about the water and sewer, radio monitors, do we have a cost on that? What it's going to cost us?
We currently use radio monitors, and I was not at the meeting, so the committee can feel free to
So
correct
the
me.
discussion was about if you have them installed now, it's just if you need a replacement, and it's about $300, just under
$49.
what?
$49.
$249 if you need to replace it.
Okay, and any idea when that'll happen?
Well, it's only if yours fails. You
Okay.
have it now.
No, I still get a bill, so I guess mine didn't fail.
Good
Okay.
point.
Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. Anybody else on the Zoom? Okay. We will move into old business. 4.1, the Narrowsburg Water and Sewer proposed sewer rate increase. We'll accept a motion to adopt the proposal from the Sewer and Water Committee for option number 5 as it was written, that will be effective January the 1st, 2024. And that is for the quarterly base rate will be $125.50, and the usage rate will be based on the water usage of $8.88 per 1,000 gallons of water.
So moved.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? 4.2, the highway heavy maintenance equipment operator position. The committee from the highway met with the highway superintendent and conducted interviews. At the recommendation of the highway superintendent was to hire Cody Yerkes to the HMEO position effective immediately in accordance with the highway collective bargaining unit that is dated January 1, 2020 through December 31st of 2024. Discussion on that before a vote?
Is that the Cody I know, Bruce?
No,
No.
This is the guy from.
he's from Damascus.
Oh, okay.
I would make that motion to hire Cody Yerkes upon the recommendation of the highway superintendent. Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 4.3, our agreement for the expenditure of highway monies. we looked at this last month. There was not a sum that was in the expenditure. That sum is now in there of $264,500. Does the board have a? If you don't have a copy of that. The 264,500 was missing last time, and we
Oh,
didn't
right.
pass the resolution on it because of that.
Wow.
I would make it a motion
I'll second.
for the agreement of the expenditure of highway monies. I have a motion, a second. Any further comment on that?
No.
All in favor? Aye, opposed. 4.4, which is not on our old business, in discussion with council regarding the bond that we are seeking for the assistance to pay for the culvert project on Main Street. The recommendation from council has been to go for a 1-year RAN, a revenue anticipation note.
Say that.
Bond anticipation, I'm sorry, not a revenue, a bond, a ban, not a RAM. A bond anticipation note, for the course of 1 year, and to see if at that point in time, perhaps our interest rates will go down. I've been informed that we can do that for up to 5 times.
Yeah, or if we can have a bond in, then I think we have a total of 5 of them before we have to do the permanent financing. And you
So
can,
the question I was gonna put to the board before my discussions with Ken was how long did we want to go for a bond? But at this point, I would make, follow the recommendations of the attorney and put forth a motion to have him find us a bond anticipation note in a 1-year term.
Okay.
Are the rates comparable?
well, it'll be a shorter term, so the problem right now is rates being what they are. To get a bond purchaser to purchase a bond, they're gonna want a high rate. I think we got probably a better shot, and I think for the long term, it'll benefit the town if we borrow short term and then hope the rates come back down.
Are we penalized for the short term rate? No,
I mean, I'll get the rates, if we
not like a payday loan.
No, it's not like any, it's actually not like any kind of loan. People have this perception that it's like a installment loan or like a mortgage. It's not, and it's also not that easy to refinance. So if we locked ourselves in and let's say we wound up with an 8% rate or on a 10 or 15-year, bond, maybe we're better off if we wait a year, pay something down at the end of the year like we would have anyway, and see what the rates are then. And maybe it's a 5% loan. Do the math over the course of 10 years. That would be a lot of money. Great. Say it, right?
Mhm.
The motion to authorize the attorney for the town to find us a ban.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye, opposed? Moving into new business. 5.1, the Tusten Youth Club grant funding, motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the contract for the Tusten Youth Club 2023-2024. New York State OCFS 2000 grant through the Sullivan County Youth Bureau. That's the one that they do, I believe, no, that's a different one that they're gonna do. To get $2,000.
So you're just asking us to be the pass through for them.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make that motion.
And a second,
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Continuing education for code, a motion to authorize the code department employees to attend the code school in Lake Placid and obtain 24 hours of the required continuing education. And this is the same, that they did last year. They went up and got their continuing education. I would make the motion to authorize that.
I'll second it.
Further discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5.3, the Sullivan County Division of Solid Waste Agreement. This is the agreement that we sign each year with, Sullivan County. This is where we get our tonnage to do such things as the cleanup days. A motion to authorize the supervisor to sign the 2024 solid waste agreement with Sullivan County.
I make that motion.
I'll second.
Further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? 5.4 is our planning service agreement for the open space project. This is the grant that Jane had talked about previously. And this is with Peter Manning, who was written into the grant for this, correct? Jane, anything we need to know about this? That jumps out, this is all part of our.
I move that we, enter into this agreement as written.
Okay, this is the one that's for the open space project, so we have another one for the zoning project.
Right.
So we'll do a motion first on the planning service agreement on the open space with Peter Manning. I have a motion, I will second. All in favor? Aye, opposed. Planning and service agreement for the zoning project. This is the ongoing zoning project that we've had. And this again is with Peter Manning, our planning consultant. And I would make a motion to authorize the planning service agreement for the zoning project.
No, I second that.
Further discussion or questions? All in favor? Opposed? Kevin, I think you're up.
All right, this is-
5.5, which is not on the agenda.
This is a mouthful, so bear with me. It's basically, I just thought it would be a good thing to sort of do a year in review of what the board has done. So bear with me. It's a 2023 in review, a short recap of projects of long-term consequence. The end of the calendar year offers an appropriate time to glance over the town council's efforts and accomplishments. In the rush of meetings and minutes, bills paid, resolutions passed, roads paved, and snow plowed, it can be easy to lose sight of long-range goals. So consider the following not as a comprehensive list, but as a concise survey of some of the board's major accomplishments and endeavors and an indication of its vision moving forward. After more than a century of use, the culvert at the end of Little Lake Erie has been replaced, a major project overseen by Rutledge Construction. It was made possible in large part by grants applied for and overseen by our departing colleague, Councilwoman James Lutzen. As we approach 2024, another capital project loomed. The town's water tower was built in the late 1940s with the expectation that it would be replaced sometime in the 70s. That new water tower is scheduled to be built sometime in the first half of 2024. In addition, the town has been working with Delaware Engineering on a major renovation of our water system. Some parts of this vital local infrastructure are more than a century old. In a related development, the board has worked to put the water and sewer departments on a more solid fiscal footing. Moving beyond these highly visible and expensive projects, the board has made a priority of protecting the town's unique, wild, and scenic rural nature. Over the past 2 years, the Boy Scouts of America organization has worked with a conservation fund to eventually transfer ownership of thousands of acres of Scout camp property to the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation. These actions will ensure that a significant portion of the town of Tusten remains unspoiled and available for hunting, hiking, fishing, and recreational use. Pursuant to these ends, the town has established the Tusten Conservation Advisory Council and has received grants to pay for a plan for the town's open spaces with an eye towards protecting them for generations to come. Working out of a town hall that does not disguise its age and years, the council has hired a local architect to devise plans for the building's preservation and the renewal and maximization of office space. Recognizing that our town relies heavily on its volunteers and volunteer organizations, the board has continued to financially support our local ambulance corps, 2 fire companies, Tusten Youth Organization, and the Narrowsburg Beautification Group. And finally, early this year, the town council voted to lease its property at 93 Main to a local business, allowing entrepreneurs to make use of that space and to provide an ongoing rental revenue stream to the town of Tusten. The end of 2023 brings the departure of Councilwoman Jane Lutzinger, an indispensable colleague responsible for many of the grants and projects cited above. December also sees the retirement of long-term town assessor Ken Boehm. While retiring from those duties that he has performed so well, Ken will continue to serve the town as chairman of the planning board. It ends without any, that's the end, folks. All of them, all the good.
Does anybody else have new business that we've missed? If not, I'm going to open the floor back to public comments, starting with here in the hall. Michael.
Economics is a dismal science, I think, as we all know, because the experts rarely ever get it right. But the consensus seems to be that interest rates sometime in the new year will start to decline. Maybe they will, maybe they won't, but that seems to be the budding consensus at the moment. So doing the short-term note actually makes sense in terms of not getting locked into a higher rate. I guess the question is, do we have to, going for a short-term note, have to bond the entire amount, or can we just bond for 1 year, only what we need for that calendar
We
year?
need the entire amount, so it's kind of a moot question, Mike.
Well, there are aspects to it that probably will get paid over a period of
No,
time.
it's due, if the project is complete, the money is due.
Okay, so there's no wiggle room there to,
Correct. Yeah, the number that the board came up with was the amount of money that we received in assistance, the amount of money that we knew we had available to go towards a project, and the amount of money that we needed to bond to get to the final number. So that's where that number came from. If we were to bond less than that, we wouldn't have enough money. Well, we would have enough money, we would deplete the town coffers.
okay, so that's not an option.
That's not an
Just
option.
the short term, because that obviously would also, if possible, also save you more money by not rolling out the entire amount in one shot. But, all right,
Normally on a project like this, we would have had our bond in place at this point. We've been stretching it out to hopefully see these rates go down, which they haven't.
no, they have not. They're persistently, as they say, they're higher for longer, and that's where they've been very sticky in terms.
Hopefully this will play out in a positive manner for us.
Okay.
Anyone else from the floor? Yes, Star.
I just have a question. What is the difference?
Sorry, it's for the Zoom microphone.
Okay. What is the difference when you said that the lights have been commissioned? What is the difference between that and having them working?
Well, when they're not working, that's what they are. When they're commissioned means that we've got communication, everything that you've heard about the SIM card and the gateway, all of those things are needed to commission the lights. Commission means to get them up and running. So now the system is up and running.
Okay, so basically it's a holding pattern. The commission means that it's ready to go.
No,
It's not
it's
going.
commission means it's working. The system is working. Because you have one light that doesn't work does not mean the system doesn't work.
So everything else is on and off in the proper way. It's just that one light that's not.
Correct. Any lights that are out right now are not working as intended, but the system as a whole is commissioned and working.
Okay, commission means it's okay.
Yes.
And I just wanted to ask, it's the bottom of the agenda. It says recess to Friday, December 15th. What is the recess for?
Yes, that was in the beginning of the meeting. We need to do our bills, and the recess meeting will be to go over audit and pay the bills for the month.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And Star, just to bring you up to speed, we are not doing that tonight because there's been some family issues with someone who's critical.
Oh, okay.
Is there other comments from the floor? Questions from the floor? Anybody on Zoom? Anthony,
Hey, Ben, last meeting last week with the water sewer rate increase or what have you. Just it was mentioned the 12-point program. I think you remember I asked about that. Is there a spot on not the internet, on the website that's available to look at, or is you still looking into that?
I'm gonna say that it is on the website.
Okay.
And we've also got hard copies of that also.
Yeah, all right. I'll stop by and I'll look for a hard copy. If you got one.
Yeah, because there was a whole hearing and there was quite a process to get to that point in order to put that forward.
Okay,
The notes
Thank-
for that hearing are online, so maybe some of that information is in the notes.
Okay.
on the website, on the town website?
Yeah,
The notes he said are
Yeah.
on there.
the notes from the public hearing are there, so some of the information you might want, Anthony, might be found there before you get around to picking up a hard copy.
But
Okay,
you'll find that the 12 points that are in that are pretty well laid out and
okay,
explains it very well.
all right. Thank you.
I would say 12 points.
Well, it's,
That's the whole
Right.
outline of everything that needs to be done for $12 million, which we're not doing.
is there any other comment from up there? Board comments?
I'll start. Today is Jane's last meeting, as an elected member of the council. And, thank you for everything that you've accomplished, including the fact that I don't think I would run to be on the board, without your mentorship and push. So, thank you for that. And, Cass, congratulations on your win. We look forward to your, term.
Jane, you're not gonna get off that easy with Greg, so. Since tonight is your last regular board meeting, I think myself and the board would like to thank you for your years of service. I know that you will be active going forward, and we cannot overlook her countless contributions she has made as a board member. Prior to my return, Jane was very active for our town, but I will relegate myself to my return. Otherwise, we'll probably be here all night. So in 2020, our comprehensive plan was already 2 years overdue. The zoning rewrite was years in the works with meetings. We formed a comprehensive planning committee. The planner was engaged and Jane was made chair. And in 1 year, the plan was updated and adopted, a large task, as the last plan took almost twice as long. When the comprehensive plans are updated, then zoning is looked at for revisions based on the plan of newly revised. A committee was formed, our planner was on board, and Jane was the chair. This committee met every 2 weeks to update the code, make revisions as per the comp plan, and help streamline our zoning. Many months were put into this endeavor, still some time left to do, including updating our E-code in the online version. Part of the comp plan was again a call for the Conservation Council to be formed. One was last formed in 2008, but somehow faded away. In an effort to make a lasting council, the town board formed one by local law to make an establishment permanent. Jane was again appointed to the chair. Although in honesty, I don't think she was here for the vote and she couldn't say no. The committee met with the planner, and they were schooled on the responsibilities and objectives of the council. Several meetings were held, and then it was announced that Jane had secured a grant from the National Fish and Wildlife Foundation to assist in our open space and recreation. Well, this has been happening since 2020. Jane had involved in the Narrowsburg Water Project, which we've heard so much about lately. The first meeting was held with the engineering company at Jane's lunch table, and I do not believe she's missed a meeting or a hearing since its inception. That's been over 4 years. It has been an arduous process of collecting data, inventory, interviews, phone calls, meetings, and hearings, and nobody has yet to see the shovel hit the ground. Tonight, we also heard of the completion of the culvert project at Little Lake Erie, another project that Jane has been the point on. The project Jane was able to secure $900,000 worth of funding. Jane again was part of the construction meetings and a liaison to New York State Department of Transportation and engineers on behalf of the town. And while doing this in her $5,000 a year part-time government job, Jane also secured funding from Sullivan 180 and the Upper Delaware Council. She continues to seek answers for housing in the town and improvements to the town hall and other projects we have heard about her finding monetary assistance for. If it wasn't enough, Jane has found the time for mahjong, working at a shop on Main Street, volunteering with the DVAA, and of course, the beloved logging days, which she managed to miss the first year due to a fall in her Japanese garden. That I understand is the envy of every person it has visited. I'm still waiting. I am sure that I have missed something, but this is just since 2020 when she became my deputy. A position she was reluctant to do because she said she didn't know anything and what if something happened? Laughable by myself when I realize all she does do. So I've used this time to thank Jane and to acknowledge her accomplishments, but you will be seeing a lot more of her.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, we get to do 10 next month.
Well, I've really enjoyed my time on the board. I've learned so much about the town. I've met so many people that I would not have otherwise known or met. And it's been a privilege, a very, very big privilege. Thank you.
Jane, we've been on the library board and this board, and I think the water committee is the most fun. Maybe because it's at 8 in the morning.
I hear that time might change. All right, meeting reminders, if there's no further board comment. The town board end of the year meeting will be December the 29th.
I can't make it. I can't.
Really?
Going to Nashville.
I specifically left out in my accolades to you, the fact that you took young women to Iceland. You were with half naked men in Japan.
Uh,
Uh,
I don't know what time that meeting is. I don't know what time I'm leaving.
And the Tusten Animal Control position is still open. We are looking for anybody that would like to do that. And we do need to recess our meeting. Does Friday work for everybody? And the purpose of the recess is to do the audited payment of the bills. Is Friday good?
It's fine with me.
Well, just after school.
What,
Yeah, it's gonna have to be in the later afternoon.
later afternoon?
So Bruce and I have to go through the bills first, so.
Yep.
Figure 5? Is that you? No, does that give you enough
That's
time? So if we do it before,
Yep, that's fine.
yeah, so 5?
5?
I can come to that.
Hmm?
I can come to that.
Don't start.
5 o'clock.
Are we gonna change the meeting on the 29th because Jane can't? be
No, no, that's just.
That's just the payment of the last bills. We'll give her a bye.
Do we have, is that to 6:30? We have a time for that?
The 29th.
Yeah.
I think I put it in my calendar. Let me check for you, just so I'm not telling you something that's incorrect.
I have it at noon.
I was gonna say, I thought it was early.
Okay.
Could we do it a little earlier, like 11?
We can, because we've got enough time to announce it.
Is that okay with you guys?
It's fine, we just, Bruce and I have to do the bills.
You're talking about the end of the year meeting for 11.
Yes, the
Yeah.
29th.
I would make a motion then to set the final end of the year meeting for December 29th at 11 a.m. I will need a second and a
I'll
vote.
second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed. Okay, so now we're back to our recess. We will recess the meeting to the 15th of December at 5. 5 works for everyone?
What time?
5 o'clock?
Oh, yeah, 5 o'clock. That's what I put in.
I will make the motion to recess to December the 15th at 5 p.m.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, folks.
Once again, that's all.
Thank you very much for that. It's very nice.